Welcome back, everybody, to Cool Times Podcast. I am your host, Vince Free, joined by my life and business partner, Jenna Free. We talk all things cool about the cold storage construction industry. You can find our work on the Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. And we are joined today by an absolute stud. Love this guy to death, Mr. Tim Sandberg. How are you, man?
I'm doing fabulous. Good to have you guys. Thanks for having me on here, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask a little bit about yourself. But before I do that, let me give you the proper intro and tell people how amazing you are. For people that don't know Tim, Tim is from New York, born and raised New York. And you graduated from New York Tech with a degree in architecture. You currently reside in North Carolina, Charlotte, and almost married 20 years. And you have a 5 going on 6 or 15-year-old daughter. And and you work as a senior project manager for Gray Construction. You're even sporting the shirt gray.
I like it.
Gotta represent.
That's it. So welcome, man. How are you?
No, I'm doing fabulous. I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're excited to get to know you a little bit and get to know about your start in the cold storage industry. But I think I would really like to start with understanding how you went from working in commercial interiors in Manhattan to joining us in our tiny little niche of cold storage.
So it's actually funny because I'll go back a little bit further than that, because in high school, my father had asked me, like, what do you want to do? And I was an artistic kid growing up, and I was always drawing and stuff like that. And I said, I don't know, I want to be an artist or an animator or something. And, he looked at me the way a father does when he says, man, you're going to be living in my basement for the next 30 years.
Nice.
And he's like, what about architecture? So junior year of high school, I went and found a job at an architecture firm, and I was running blueprints after school every day. So I did that for 2 years, and then I decided I was going to go to school for architecture. Worked through college at an architecture firm, and we were doing retail, corporate interiors, residential work. So really, by the time I got out of school, I'd already been working in the industry for about 7 years, and man, I was almost done with it, right? Wow. And I said, all right, I don't know what I want to do, right? But I want to try to do something. So we got out of school. My wife and I said, let's move up to Boston, right? Let's leave New York. We're going to go up to Boston. And I put my resume out basically to everybody who did retail, did corporate interiors, did whatever. And I heard nothing back. And I put it on monster.com, which I don't even know if that's even still around anymore.
I don't know either.
I don't know if Monsters are around anymore.
and this food and beverage company up in Massachusetts gave me a call, and it was the owner of that company. And he basically was saying, I'm kind of intrigued by your interest here. Like, why do you want to do retail? Right.
Yeah. No kidding. Hey, and what year was that? Because didn't retail crash in 2008?
Yeah, it was about 2005.
Okay.
Right. 2005,
okay.
2006.
So before, sure.
Yeah. And he's like, man, do you really want to go through the rest of your life getting yelled at by a 16-year-old manager of a Forever 21? And I was like, you know what, maybe you're right. So anyway, I went up to Boston to meet them, and I was sitting in their office, and we're going through, and, he said, we're really interested, to starting position. And they were kind of saying, what kind of big projects have you done? And I remember running through this list of projects, and I'm saying, oh, I did this big $100,000 renovation and this big $200,000 renovation. And he sat down and he basically said, oh, nope, you have done no big projects. Right. And I said, no, yeah, you're right.
Wow.
Anyway, he said, I want to bring you on board. I want you to be part of our team, but I want to send you out to the job sites. Mm-hmm. Right. And he said, so for the first 2 to 3 years, I want you kind of living on the road, go to these projects, work on the food and beverage projects there on site, and kind of learn what you need to learn before you come back to the office and are, designing for us.
Sure.
But I mean, long story short is I never made it back to the office. I've been, I kind of said, I'm not going back to architecture. I'm going to just stay in the construction. I moved around for about 7 years working in the fields.
Yeah.
And I've been in the office ever since.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I think I've done a job with you long time ago in the field. Maybe not.
There's potential there.
Yeah. So now you're landed, you're a senior project manager at Gray Construction, ginormous company, design, build, general contractor. They specialize in food and beverage and cold storage across the United States. I don't want to ruin your sales pitch, but tell me a little bit about Gray for people that's never heard of Gray.
Yeah, like you said, we're a big company. We're continuing to grow. Gray has just around 1,700 employees. We are only in the industrial market for the most part. Now, a portion of our team is doing other industrial work, and about 70% of our team is doing food and beverage and cold storage work. We have basically in-house engineering, in-house construction management, and then we also have a lot of people dedicated to all the equipment to be able to put into the facility.
Okay.
So we're not only designing.
You're doing process jobs, correct?
We're doing process jobs.
You're doing a lot of process.
We're doing a lot of ASRSs. Yep. ASRSs. Really kind of, our specialty is in the automation side. It is in the cold storage, the food and beverage.
You've traveled across the country, doing many things, and there's got to be. I want a cool story. I want a cool story. Either it could be the introduction into the cold storage industry. It could be on site, something funny that happened, something cool that happened. You got anything to share story wise? Give us something cool.
Yeah. So my first project, I was working on a hummus facility in Richmond, Virginia, and there was a refrigeration superintendent who used to always bust my balls. Right? He'd come over there and basically would just say, "Tim, you are doing one hell of a job." And he would die laughing every time and then walk away. And he did this every day, right? Every day he would just walk into the room and say, "Tim, just want to tell you, you are doing one hell of a job." And then would laugh and walk away. Now, but he taught me a lot about the refrigeration systems, right? He kind of just said, "Hey, here's how it works. Here's how things work." But he would bust my chops every single day. We finished that project. And for the next 2 years, he would call me once a month and basically tell me that I am doing one hell of a job, right?
That's awesome.
Fast forward though, about 15 years later on, and I'm working in Bakersfield, California. And Vince, you were on that project. Mm-hmm. And I'm working on Bakersfield, California, and from across the parking lot, and this is a big facility out there. Mm-hmm. And across the parking lot, I hear this guy scream, "Man, that guy over there does one hell of a job." Right. And I turn around and it's this refrigeration site manager, and he's running that facility out there. And, we went over there and started bullshitting a little bit. And I said, "Oh, where have you been? What projects have you working on?" Yeah. So I started going through kind of what I've been working on. And he's like, "Man, I know exactly where you've been." He's like, "I've been keeping tabs on you for the past 15 years. And he goes, "I know what project you've been on." And I'm like, what? This is probably the only industry that you can say people do that, right? That's true. People care about the people that are working in there. And you can keep tabs on people, right? It's so small.
It is. We say that in every podcast. This industry is so huge, but dude, it is so small, and everybody knows everybody, and it's family. It's great seeing competitors hanging out with competitors and being able to bounce ideas off of each other. And I call a competitor at least once a month and just bounce ideas off them, because that's the kind of space that we are involved in, and I love it.
No, it's way too small, right? Is people around here just change shirts, right? You're going to see the same person. They're going to wear a different company's shirt next week, right?
That's good. They just change shirts.
Right? The week after that, they're going to be the owner, right? And you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be kissing his butt because, right? But
dude, that is actually so true. They just change shirts.
Such a good way to put it.
You have to be respectful of this because, we're all in this, right? No one wants to see anybody else fail.
No,
right?
Totally.
No, I totally agree with you.
I
just love it.
That's awesome.
So let me ask you, Tim, we asked all of our guests this question, is kind of what was the moment, your cool moment? He asked for a cool story. I always like to know, what was, and if you had one, a cool moment that made you go, "This is a cool industry to be in. I want to stay here. I want to build my career in this industry. This is what I love about it." Did you have a moment like that, or a collection of moments that made you go, "This is definitely someplace I want to stay"?
I think for me, the coolest thing that we do is that the jobs are different at times, right? My first project is hummus project, right? And then the next one was a cereal facility. And then I did a sugar facility, and then I did a cold storage, and then, and I'm doing a turkey processing facility, right? But
Sure.
you get into this and you dive into it and you learn so much about this, right? And from there, you take what you learned, you move to the next one. It's something that's completely different. And what I like about it is how innovative it is, right? And how intellectually stimulating it is. And I also like that, you walk into a grocery store and I say, I worked on that project. I worked on that project. I worked for them.
Yes, built that. Right? I built that.
Yeah.
I built that.
Yeah.
I know who stores their turkeys. I know who stores their, pies, right?
Yeah.
And you walk in there and you have ownership, right? You're saying like, I did this, right? I had some small part of putting this on the shelf, right? And no one else cares but me, but I'm fine with that. Right.
Hey,
we
I
feel the
care.
same way.
People ask me all the time what I do for a living. And I'm like, I build cold storage buildings. They go, what does that mean? I'm like, well, picture this. Walk in the grocery store, perishable aisle, where the coolers and the freezers are. If you look in the back of the package, it's going to say something. It's where it's made, right? Or who made it. And this food gets made somewhere and it's stored somewhere. That's what we build, right? And people just have no idea. I didn't know when I started in 2005, my story is probably a little bit different than yours. I took a job offer at a door company or had a job interview at a door company and walked in, didn't even know anything about what they did and bombed the interview. And I had no idea this industry existed. That job. So it's incredible.
Yeah, but it is. It's fun to take that ownership.
So I got to ask you though, that being in architecture and now you are dealing with building cold storage buildings, and the details in cold storage buildings are so different. You got thermodynamics and things moving this and that, right? Because you're going from -10 to maybe 80 degrees or -10 to 100 degrees outside, and just floor plans and layouts. Being a senior project manager level, are you heavily involved with your design team? Do you miss designing? Do you want to get more into the designing? Where's your headspace at with that?
So it's funny because I would say about 90% of the projects I'm working on right now, I'm doing the upfront layouts, right? So sure. I couldn't give it up totally, right?
Yeah.
So I'm still working on kind of the upfront layouts there. And then once we get to a certain level, we get into execution. It's, hey, let's get the drawings fully going, right? But, someone's got to be in that upfront with the owner, trying to work through and figure out, what are the best adjacencies, right? Which room is better, right? And when you open this door, am I bringing hot air into this freezer?
Yep.
Do I need to do X, Y, Z? And
with what you do, and when we build buildings, like our scope is very it's very black and white. Like we do this and we do that, and these are the products we have to deal with. For you, I mean, you have to literally understand every single scope and every single product out there for each of those scopes. I mean, you need to understand electrical, you need to understand concrete, you need to understand steel. Like you need to know every single division inside and out.
Yeah, and I think, it's funny because I look at it like, the conductor of an orchestra, right? Is you don't need to know everything about all of them, but you better know the limitations of each of them, right?
Okay, sure.
Is you know enough about IMP that you don't go down a route that is way out in left field, right? Yeah. And you want to make sure that you're putting things in, I find that some of the struggles, Vince, is, we have a lot of, on IMP, for instance, is you're going to have some walls that penetrate fully down, right? And you're going to have some walls that are sitting on top of the slab, right? And getting that in your head, that there are hard stops between some of these rooms, right? So when you're sequencing work, you're not missing out on this stuff, right? Yeah. And I think that's where, a lot of people look at a schedule and say, all right, IMP is all this day, but there's a lot of stuff that's way prior and way afterwards, right? And when do you sequence that, and when's the right time to bring people in? Because we've got to be efficient of your time, right? Is you don't make any money keep coming out there and doing a bunch of things, right? No. Is we want to make sure we get out there, we're efficient, you guys get done, because that's how the project's going to progress.
Absolutely. So you're working with project managers across the country in this arena. How many projects are you running at a given time?
Right now I've got about 7 projects in motion, right?
Now, I didn't get the PO for that. Did you, Jenna? I didn't get one
I don't
PO.
get involved in these kind of conversations.
Oh, I'm just kidding too.
Oh, you didn't get that, huh? No, so I've got 4 in execution and 3 in basically in preliminary design right now.
Okay. You know, your phone's going to blow up from all the contractors listening to this saying, wow, Tim's got all this work. I'm calling him. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's like scheduling this podcast, right? Good luck.
Yeah, no kidding.
Exactly. We had a lot of back and forth trying to make today happen, but we are here and we made it work. So
yeah,
we are grateful for that.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you, out of those 7 projects, or maybe even there's things that maybe you're not directly involved with, but what would you say is something cool that you feel is happening at Gray Construction right now?
I mean, I think just our growth in general right now, we have not only double, I mean, and really, when I say growth, I mean, the growth is really coming from people hearing about us, right? We're getting in front of more clients. Our jobs are getting more complicated, but we've seen exponential growth in the past 2 years. We've doubled our staff.
Wow, that's incredible.
In the past 2 years, doubled your
staff. 2 years. Right now, a lot of that's through acquisition, right? Is we've realized that we have to bring more services to our clients.
Yeah.
We are getting into a much more technical arena with the automation and controls and stuff like that. And we really want to make sure that, we're a turnkey solution. You can come to us and we're going to have the persons and the expertise to be able to deliver on your project. So, I mean, I think, yeah, it's, but, it's more than that, because I mean, I really, it's hard to put into words kind of just the teams that we have out here working. I mean, they're all working around the clock. We're doing great work and we have great people out there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How many associations or maybe trade shows you go a year?
I go to about 5.
Okay. 5.
Do you have a favorite?
CEBA.
Just checks in the mail for the same.
I know, obviously.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
you later.
I mean, here's what I'll say. CEBA is like going home, right? I go to a lot of the food and beverage trade shows. I go to, but CEBA is one of those places that you go to and everyone's welcoming. So many people. It is going home for me. It's the hardest one to miss if I had to miss it.
Oh,
yes.
I agree.
And for those who don't know what CEBA is, our first time listeners, CEBA stands for Controlled Environment Building Association. And that association conference meets once a year. And we rotate actually where the location is. And not many people know this, but we go West Coast, East Coast, Vegas. West Coast, East Coast, Vegas. So
can't miss the Vegas.
Every third year we're in Las Vegas, and typically
that's about all I can handle of Vegas is every third.
Same.
I agree. I agree. And West Coast is either California or like maybe Palm Springs, somewhere in there.
That's
and
also in California, just so you know.
Oh my God, it is. I was thinking Arizona. That's because we do it in Arizona too.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. So like Scottsdale, and then the East Coast is typically in Florida. But yeah, it's a great conference. And like you said, it specializes in building controlled environment buildings. So you get everyone from general contractors, design builders like yourself, experts in that arena. You got your vendors, your suppliers that handle all things that supply these products, doors and roofing and concrete to the show. And then you have end users and architects, and it brings everybody in, and it does
feel like home. Like you couldn't put it better.
It feels like home.
Better.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, let me ask you one more question. Working, obviously in design and then coming over to cold storage, did you have any misconceptions? Because we get that a lot. Like, for example, when he was selling doors, people are like garage doors? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Did you have any either family members or friends or anyone or even yourself, maybe misconceptions about what the cold storage industry was?
Yeah. It's funny because, like I said, my first project was a hummus project. And as far as all of my friends back at home, they tell everyone that I'm a hummus architect. Right. And I think that it's funny because they'd be like, oh, pizza fireman and Sean does sanitation and Tim's a hummus architect. Right.
That accent was good, by the way.
I liked
that
it
was
a
good
lot.
accent.
Now they say it with such pride and such honor that I never correct them, right? But I think sometimes it's like, what are you working on at that time? And people associate it, right? Because people may ask, what do you do? And you explain, I do this project or that, right? But I always say I'm in food and beverage and cold storage. No one has any clue what that is. So then I said, oh, that product there? Yeah, I'm working on that facility, and they remember that, right?
Yes. Yeah, I find that when you give brand names of something, if you're like, oh, this or this or this brand, they're like, oh, yeah, I know that. I see that in the grocery store.
You
Yeah.
have to. Totally have to.
Yeah, totally. Well,
I
go ahead.
I love asking this question because it's one of my favorite questions to ask. And because I was in sales most of my life, I guess we're all in sales in some way, shape, or form. So I always ask people, why buy from Tim Sandberg?
I mean, here's what I'll say, right? Is you're not going to find anyone that cares more about that project. Is, for me, it's the values, right? It's not the finances, right? Is I want to build great buildings, right? Is when I got into this industry and just working throughout the years, is my reputation is everything, right? Is I want that someone looks there and sees it and they're excited because I'm excited. I mean, I'm more excited than most clients to build their building. And at Gray, we really have that staff who is just as excited to build these jobs. I mean, we don't understaff our projects. They're well-staffed projects.
Sure.
And, a lot of times, we joke around because it said, oh, you can have 50%, right? You do 50%, but that's not good enough for anyone on our team, right? Everybody wants to do 100%, right? Everyone's working like the entire fate of this project relies solely on them.
Yeah.
And we have the people to be able to do it and execute the work. We have the other staff to be able to support it from really whatever you're looking for. And one thing that we're doing differently here too is we have a small projects division as well, so that we can continue on with that customer on any of the other work they're doing. Is we found that, there are a lot of times, you're sitting there, you're building these big buildings, and a company like Gray is not set up sometimes to be able to go in and do a small renovation, but we don't want to abandon our customers, right? We want to be there for whatever they need, right? So, we have a company called Gray Guard. I'm on projects, right? It's our same project managers. It's our same senior project managers.
Awesome.
We're working with that customer to say, if you want to cut a door opening in here, we'll help you out, right? We'll get it all lined up. We'll get the electrician lined up. We'll do whatever, because we want to be there for everybody, right? This is not a one and done for us. We are really looking to be able to kind of be a turnkey and be your support, be your extra arm there. I mean, that's what you're getting from Gray.
Yeah. I think I echo what he says a little bit. I mean, no one cares more than you about the job, and you're going to put that passion forward, and that's what you show your clients, and you add value with that. And I've done a job with you before, and I've seen it firsthand. So I can back you up when you say that, man. You are all in when you do these jobs, and you know the details so well, and you're able to look ahead, 3, 4, 5, 8 weeks out and prevent problems from happening. And your passion is unbelievable, and that's contagious for sure. And that's probably why we remained such good friends for all these years, Tim.
That's right. The reason I did this podcast, because as I discussed originally, I am nervous. A nervous wreck is I don't think I ate for the past 3 days.
Oh, no wonder we couldn't schedule them.
Yeah. Obviously, that's not true. But
I know. Come on, you're fasting. You're good.
That's it. Yeah.
You're good.
Well, tell our audience where they can find more information out about Gray. Maybe if you feel comfortable, how they can contact you if they want that piece, so that they know where they can go to find out more about.
100%. So you can find out more about us at www.gray, that's gray.com, or you can reach out to me. It's Tim Sandberg, and my email address is TSANDBERG@gray.com.
That's awesome. And you know what, Tim, be careful about sharing that email address now, because you are going to have vendors and suppliers blowing you up, man. Because everyone's going to want to know Tim and get in Gray. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our podcast is so popular.
Which is, yeah, because so many people listen to us. So no, that's awesome. So what people don't know about you yet is, yeah, you went to college for architecture, but no one really knows like how big of a badass you are with architecture and drawing. You had emailed me over some of your work. So in your pastime, you like to draw and build. Tell us a little bit about that, because I got some things we're going to share with you on the screen of some of your work. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I guess my father didn't rub off on me too much. I still had to keep drawing. So, a couple of things, right? I do general artwork around the house, stuff like that, a lot of architectural type renderings and stuff and paintings. The other thing I'm doing is I'm trying to keep a journal for my daughter, which I think I may have sent you over some photos there of that.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull them up for the audience here. Let's see if I can share your.
Let's share a few.
Yeah,
These are incredible.
absolutely.
So about once a week, I'll sit there and try to draw something up and put a little text as to what's going on in her life right now, so that she has those memories kind of to be able to hold on to in the future.
Yeah, totally. So here's you at a desk. Can you see that, Tim?
Yeah, you may want to zoom in there a little bit, but yep.
So yeah. So there's you, and you are drawing. Are you drawing these faces?
Yeah.
That is
wow.
That's
incredible talent.
Incredible.
Ah.
Little Bob the Builder action here.
Yeah, it was funny, Vince, is I spent so much time on the road. We had no furniture when we bought our first house.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And you just built it all. Look at
We had to build it all.
Goodness.
Look at this. Tim, you might have to do some artwork for one of our for our office. This is incredible.
Oh wow, look at that.
So that's the journal for my daughter there. One of them.
On you, on top of you. And you always, I think, if Tim, if I had to draw you as a cartoon, your signature would be this hat. I mean, you wear these cool hats, man. And you wear them so awesome. And this is you building a shed, right?
Yeah. These are my mini COVID projects.
Yeah. And
this doesn't look so mini. Oh my gosh, look at that final.
That's is insane.
Gorgeous.
Hey, can you come over to my house? I got a lot of things for you to build, my friend.
Yeah, because you're not busy with your 7 projects right now.
Yeah, this is incredible. And look at this.
Wow.
Tell us about this painting. Or not.
So it's actually
drawing.
pencil, right?
It's
a pencil drawing of the city of New Orleans. I had a cousin of mine who is graduating from his doctorate out in New Orleans, and I drew that for him for his first apartment.
That is awesome.
Do you hope that this gift of artistry will rub off on your daughter a little bit too? Something you can share together?
She's over there working all day long on arts and crafts and drawing. And I've got more stuff on the refrigerator. I can't find the fridge. Right.
I love it.
Super proud, right? Super excited. She's going to surpass me in every way. So I've got all the confidence of that.
That's amazing. And you have a big anniversary coming up. Do you guys
That's
celebrate anniversaries?
Is it 20 years in March?
20 years in March.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Will you do something? Are you a married couple that likes to do things to celebrate your anniversaries?
We love to travel, right? So we had originally had this whole thing planned that we were going to go over to Paris, and we had tickets and everything like that. That all went out the window, right? So now we're sitting here trying to scramble to figure out what we're going to do. But we'll do something, I'm sure of it.
Awesome.
Well, that's incredible. Congratulations. Happy early anniversary.
Yeah. Happy
Thank
early
you.
anniversary.
20 years.
That's it. So
a long time.
Yes.
So so you have any other big plans besides that for the year 2022? You have any other big plans?
Just surviving at this point in time. I guess the only thing I've learned from 2020 and 2021 is don't plan too far ahead, right?
Is that not true?
He's not wrong.
Sometimes just go with the flow.
You are not wrong there.
Awesome.
That's for sure.
Well, anything else you want to share before I get into my last favorite round of rapid fire questions? Anything you want to share about yourself, great construction, industry related stuff? The floor is yours, my friend.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on here. Appreciate your time and just everyone kind of, listening to me ramble.
No, man, we appreciate your time and you got a
Yeah.
great story and what you've done for the industry and you know how many lives and futures you've touched, man. You're doing awesome. So keep that up, and you know we'll continue to see you at trade shows and you know share a drink and a laugh.
That's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah, take it easy.
Well, when you're there.
All right. So we have our cool rapid round questions. This rapid round cool questions are sponsored by Freeze Construction right now. And Tim, be ready for this. Okay. We are going to ask you an either or just a straight up question. First thing that comes to your head. I gave you sample questions, but you don't know really what I'm going to ask you. So this is completely on the fly.
Air of mystery.
It's just, and it's all PG.
And it's all funny.
And it's all PG-13. So don't worry. So, all right. Number one, box and box or ground up project?
Ground up project. I think you should design a building around that end user, right? Not try to squeeze them in there if possible.
Fair.
Ooh, I love it.
Fair.
Awesome.
Like it.
All right. Cold beer or cold drink?
Cold beer,
Perfect. Ammonia or Freon refrigeration?
ammonia.
All right. High speed roll up insulated door or high speed biparting insulated door?
Biparting.
Ooh. All right.
If you have the room for it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Favorite vacation spot?
Prague, Czech Republic.
Ooh. You know, I am Czech Republic, by the way. I had a little Czech in me.
You are.
That's
On
all
your
right.
dad's side.
On my dad's side. All right. Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Facebook or TikTok?
Facebook. I actually don't have a TikTok at all.
I don't
So
either.
I can't say I've ever been on the TikTok.
I have to ask that because it's 2022 now. I got to ask that. You know what I mean?
We're almost there.
So,
oh, yeah, we are there.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. All right. Last one. Best one. Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber?
Justin Timberlake.
My man.
That's his
So-
favorite question.
Are one of you a Justin Bieber fan? Is that where this comes from?
He likes
I'm a
both.
Bieber fan. I like both. I think they're both very talented, and I like. So I'll be very clear. I like all kinds of music. I'm a music fan. You name it. I mean, it could be 80s, 90s, hip hop, R&B, country music. I've turned into a huge country music fan since moving to Texas. I mean, I always like country. Love Garth Brooks. Yeah,
That's
but
his karaoke jam, Garth Brooks.
I do like a good Garth Brooks karaoke.
But speaking of anniversaries, he was so excited because he bought Justin Bieber tickets for our anniversary. So that's what we're doing for
Thank
our
you.
anniversary in 2022.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Spectacular.
Thank you for sharing that, internet. And it is going to be our anniversary in May, and that's where I'm taking you.
I know.
To the
You
Bieber
were really
concert.
excited to tell me about it too.
Totally.
But anyways, Tim, we wish you and your wife a very happy anniversary. And
Yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for joining us with us at the Cool Times podcast. Again, you can find our work on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and of course, you can find us on all the social medias,
all of
Tim,
them,
Facebook, Instagram,
except for TikTok.
LinkedIn, and Twitter. I don't think we're on TikTok.
We're not
yet.
on TikTok.
So
Step
that's,
up your TikTok game.
that's where you can find our work. We appreciate you guys. Please subscribe, like, share our stuff, and we look forward to having you guys back next time. Thanks, guys. And thank you, Tim.